It's Black History Month. Let me start you off with some facts. Today we talk about Miss Amazar, one of the pioneers of the more recent generation. She grew up in Manhattan, a pretty rough place to begin your journey in life. But just like many of our other black great leaders, she just wanted a way out. Her unique dance abilities would get her into the Renaissance High School of Arts. She would think this would eventually change the tide in the ways of her family, but she still had to put food on the table, so she ended up working at a local Amish deli. That job fell through, and she took what she learned from Renaissance School of Arts, and she would become an overnight choreographer. But she was still missing something as she went back to school at Manhattan Community College, and she would pick up something that would change her life. And in 2020, the information that she learned will be applied. She ended up creating the weather-approved precipitation device. She ended up getting a humanitarian award, and in 2024, we see more weather-approved precipitation devices increasingly growing and helping the ecosystem. Amazar, we would like to thank you for your contributions to Black history. It's the first day of Black history, and let me give you a story about the late great Theodore George. Theodore George, late great grandson of Eleanor Smith from Brazzaville, Congo, who was shipped over here in the early 1600s during the slave trade, where she would live the rest of her life. She would go on to live in North Carolina, where she would have her illegitimate son, Theodore George, which she had by the master Roosevelt George. But she didn't want to name her son after the master because she had a lover, so she named her after Theodore. Although having a tough upbringing, Theodore's mom would find freedom through the Underground Railroad. Theodore would go on to be one of the leaders of one of the most profound groups that we know today, the Black Panther Party. He would eventually go on to get married and have a son. And who would have thought that 30 years later, the sperm that Theodore George had raised would turn into a motherfucker that owed me money. If y'all see Theodore Jr., tell him I'm looking for his ass. This is what he looked like. Theodore, I want my money, bro. I ain't playing. Today in Black History, we celebrate the band, the first 5 Black African Americans to start a band. Making the band wasn't easy, as they had to fight tooth and nail to prove themselves nationally. And against all the odds, they would march from Manhattan to Brooklyn for liberation, and also some cheesecake. And on that day, that march would be the change that would lead to more bands to come. And today, a lot of the band members have moved back home and are mentoring the youth. But one has become the top 5 rappers of all time. Happy Black History Month. Today in Black History Month, we celebrate William Drayton Jr., another pioneer in Black history. He became the first Black African American man to dispel the theory that looks matter in relationships. At an early age, William decided he wanted freedom, taking his poetic musical talents, forming a group called Public Enemy, where he would coin the name Flavor Flav. Many would question his dating ability because America had a standard of beauty determining relationship status, where he would go on to create a show that would involve his dating life, that would bring women from far and wide to compete in challenges to win his love. The show was highly entertaining and would create a new dynamic for TV for future years to come, and would create a confidence for facially challenged men that had never been seen in the history of America. Today, if you have a man that's in your inbox that's facially challenged, we would like to thank William Drayton Jr. for all his sacrifices and hard work that he brought to Black history. Mr. Flavor Flav, happy Black History Month.